الحمد لله العليم الحكيم في كل قول وفعل صغير وكبير، وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. أما بعد، السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala describes himself in the Quran with the awsaf, of the attributes, the qualities of absolute beauty and perfection. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is He who has no defects, no faults, no imperfections from any and every inconceivable angle. Allah is perfect in terms of His names. Allah is perfect in terms of His knowledge. Allah is perfect in terms of His wisdom. Allah is perfect in terms of His strength. Allah is perfect in terms of His mercy, His justice, so on and so forth. When we say Subhanallah, sometimes translated as glory be to God, glory be to Allah, actually we're saying Subhanallah, how free are you, O Allah, from every fault and every imperfection. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't make mistakes. Allah Jalla wa Ala doesn't forget. He has the attributes of complete perfection. This is part of our essential aqeedah, our essential belief about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, without which we can't be Muslims. And part of that perfection is that Allah has the right to be deified and worshipped. When we say La ilaha illallah, we're saying, amongst other things, essentially we're saying La ma'buda bihaqqin illallah. None deserves to be worshipped. None has the right to be worshipped except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah doesn't need our worship. He doesn't need anything. He's perfect. Allah doesn't need our du'as. Allah doesn't need our worship. Allah doesn't need our fasting or prayer. He is not in need of anything from anyone or anything. But Allah, due to His greatness, His majesty, His jalaliyah, Allah being Allah, God being God, He deserves and has the right to be adored, to be loved, to be worshipped. Devotion belongs to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this is part of the beauty of belief. The beauty of the aqeedah of the believer, of the Muslims, of the muwahhidun, of the people of Tawheed. And the beliefs, the beautiful beliefs that Allah wants us to have about Him, about the prophets, about the angels, about the last day and the books and divine decree, qadr. The beauty of the beliefs that He wants us to have. He wants them to be translated into beauty of action. The beauty of the belief in the Muslim's heart about Allah and about the hereafter must be translated into beauty of action. In fact, whenever beliefs are strong in the heart of a human being, a belief about anything, whether it's a true belief or a false belief, whenever a belief is strong in the heart of a human being, they will always be expressed in concrete actions. If someone believes something, and that belief is firm in their heart, rooted in their heart, sooner or later their tongues will speak about that belief. Their limbs, their hands, their legs will give expression to that belief. If the tongue and the hands and the limbs don't give expression to that belief, that's a problem. What type of belief do we have in our heart? When Iman is in the heart, faith in Allah and the hereafter is in the heart, if it is healthy at some degree, surely it should show itself outwardly in what we say, in what we do. The stronger the Iman in the heart, the belief in the heart, the faith in the heart, the more we will express it rightfully and righteously in what we say and in what we do with our hands and our limbs. And one of the things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has taught us in the Quran, which will be my theme today, my brief theme today, is when Iman is in the heart, when there is a firm belief in Allah, when the heart is attached to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, then the tongue is mindful of what it says, where it says, and to whom it says. In fact, if the Muslims took the kaba'ir, the major sins, all sins are problematic, all sins are haram. All sins, all acts of disobedience, all acts that go against the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they're all haram, all prohibited, they're all sins. But the Sharia, the sacred law of Islam, divides sins into two categories. Al-Kabair was-Saghair, the major sins and the lesser sins. All sins are haram. Don't think for a minute, oh, the lesser sins, they're just trivial, water off a duck's back. No. Every sin veils us from Allah. Every sin casts a stain on the heart. Every sin corrupts the soul. Every sin brings us closer to the way of shaitan and farther away from the way of Allah Jalla wa Ala. But some sins are greater than others. أَلَا أُنَبِّئُكُمْ بِأَكْبَرِ الْكَبَائِرِ أَكْبَرِ الْكَبَائِرِ The Prophet said, shall I not tell you of the worst of the major sins? بَلَا يَا Rasulullah, indeed tell us. الْإِشْرَاكُ بِاللَّهِ وَأُقُوقُ الْوَالِدَيْنِ To commit shirk with Allah, associate partners with Allah. And then, to disobey parents. All sins are haram. Stealing, cheating, lying, murdering. But some sins are worse than others. But generally we're aware. Muslims, we're generally aware when we've stolen money, when we've cheated someone, when someone's murdered. But there is a sin that we quite often think quite small and insignificant and therefore don't pay any attention and don't make tawbah for it. Because how can sins be wiped away? How can the stain in the heart, the corruption of the soul through these sins be wiped away? Through tawbah, through repentance. All of the children of Adam sin. But the best of those who sin are those who make tawbah, repent to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But there is a sin that quite often, it goes unchecked in our lives. And sometimes in a day, we can do hundreds of sins. And that sin, the sins that go unchecked, tend to be the sins of the tongue. There are things that we say with the tongue which are not only displeasing to Allah, they're haram and they move us away from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the distance between the heavens and the earth. The Prophet sallallahu, the Quran itself and the Prophet sallallahu, but just for the sake of brevity, I'll leave it to some of the sayings of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam tells us how we should be in speaking. Someone will think, wow, we've got guidance in speaking. Well, how can it not be when we say, oh, Islam gives us guidance for the whole way of life. Islam is deen, not religion, bro. It's a way of life. Religion is fine. Arabic, right? Deen, related to dayn, and dayn is debt. Because deen is a debt that we owe Allah. So you can say, oh, deen is debt, what we owe God. Religion is a connection with God. Way of life. Don't be too finicky on translation, since they only just give general meanings anyway. Learn the Arabic first. Probably be better for us. The Prophet ﷺ told us how to speak, and he gave us this guideline. He sallallahu alaihi wasallam says in the authentic hadith in Sahih Bukhari, "Man kana yu'minu billahi wal yawmil akhir falyaqul khayran aw liyasmut." Whoever believes, look at the way it's expressed. Whoever believes in Allah and the last day, falyaqul khayran, let him speak well, aw liyasmut, or keep silent. Either what we're going to say is good and is beneficial, then we should speak it. If what we're going to say is something not beneficial, harmful, or sinful, we should remain silent. And if it's 50-50, it's just in between. It's neither beneficial nor harmful. It's neither an act of obedience, nor is it an act of disobedience. It's not a sin. Then, as Imam Ash-Shafi'i rahmatullah alayhi said, then this hadith is telling us if you're in a 50-50, better, the sunnah is to withhold from speaking. This is why the Prophet ﷺ in a day, even though we have so much teachings from him ﷺ, but it wasn't that he was talking 24/7. In fact, most of the life of the Prophet ﷺ were long periods of silence. Sa'id ibn al-Musayyib rahmatullah alayhi, one of the great imams, one of the leading scholars of the second generation of Muslims, the Tabi'un, he said, we sat with Abdullah ibn Umar radiallahu anhuma, this famous Sahabi. We sat with Ibn Umar for 8 years, and he hardly related a hadith to us. And when someone from outside of the city would come, a Bedouin or a stranger, he would come for religious instruction, and he would go to Ibn Umar and say, what is the Islamic ruling on this? Or did you hear the Prophet ﷺ say something about this issue? Then Ibn Umar would speak, and we would take out our pens, Ibn Umar said, and write down. And we were happy when Bedouins and strangers would come, because it would cause people like that to speak. Subhanallah. And Allah filled their hearts with wisdom. Allah gave them insight, not just the sight of the eyes, but the sight of the heart. What they said, their kalam, their speech, was qilla wa dalla, was small, short, but it had a lot of meaning. It had a lot of benefit. And today our speech, we drone on, including myself, we drone on, and there is hardly any benefit. There's hardly any benefit. Today, many of us, we have ma'lumat, but we don't have ilm. We know lots of things, ma'lumat, but we don't have knowledge. Whoever believes in Allah on the last day, let him speak well, or remain silent. Not just when we're in the masjid, not when we're just in the house of God, but when we're outside in the markets, at work, at college, at uni, at school, at home. Husband and wife. Yes, the sunnah applies even when we're married. We don't have our own way. If we want to be following the Prophet ﷺ, we know that there is a guidance, beautiful and great, that is pleasing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The Prophet ﷺ said, again about the tongue, he said to Mu'adh ibn Jabal, هل يكب الناس على وجوههم في النار? Does anything cause people to fall on their faces and be dragged into the hellfire? إلا حصائد ألسنتهم, except for the harvest of their tongues, what their tongues say, what they've uttered. And this is why Sayyidina Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu, one time Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu, he put a stone in his mouth, a pebble actually. And he closed his mouth. And this went on for days. And when they would ask him, he would point to this, and sometimes he would take it out, and he would say, هَذَا الَّذِي أَوْرَدَنِي الْمَوَارِدِ. He would point to his tongue and he said, this has dragged me down into dangerously deep places. And the Prophet ﷺ says, perhaps a man utters a word of which he considers no significance, but because of it, he is thrown into the hellfire deeper than the distance between heaven and earth, or a distance of 70,000 years. And today, we utter with our tongues things which aren't just frivolous, silly. Silly is silly, right? Even though Muslims shouldn't be silly people, But silly is silly. But haram is another thing, totally. And what are the harams with the tongue? Lying is an obvious one. Not speaking the truth. And the only cases in lying, or amongst the cases in lying which we're allowed to do, is to reconcile people and to reconcile husband and wife. But no. Let me tell the truth there, even if it's going to split, and let me lie anywhere else. Right? Let me lie to the government about how much I'm earning, how much I'm claiming. Let me lie to them that I don't have a second house, I only have one house. Let me lie to this, let me lie. But when it comes to fixing people's relationships, let me be dogmatic on the truth. Tell it as it is. Khilaf sunnah. Backbiting. Ghiba is another major sin. These are major sins which stain the heart in ways that are unfathomable sometimes. Someone will say, well, I didn't backbite, I told him to his face. Now I'm just telling you lot as well. So since I told the person that bad thing to his face, I think now I'm justified in telling other people. But what is the definition of backbiting? Don't look up Oxford Dictionary, look up Sunnah Dictionary. The Prophet was asked, Atadrun al-ghiba, do you know what backbiting is? They said, no, Ya Rasulullah, tell us what backbiting is. He said, backbiting is to speak about your brother that which he would dislike. To speak about your brother or sister, as the case may be, to speak about your brother that which he would dislike. So they said, Ya Rasulullah, what if we say, what if what we're saying about him to other people, what if it's true? He said, if it is true, then it is backbiting. If it is false, it's slanderous lying, it's slander, buhtan. So here the Prophet ﷺ told us, ghiba, this major sin called backbiting, is speaking about your fellow Muslim, that which he doesn't like. So for example, let's just say, I'm taking a silly example. There's someone who really loves his new clapped out car, all rusted up, but he loves it and he's really attached to it. And I come in and I just say to you, oh, you see that brother, he's got a rubbish car. Would he like that about something of his property? No. I have backbeaten him. Sisters gather together and there are children about. Some of the sisters have the children and they're running around. And one sister says to another sister, oh, you see that sister right over in the corner? Look at her unruly, uneducated, barbaric children. They don't even know how to behave. Would the mother like that? No, she wouldn't. It's backbiting. It's true, it might be true, but it's backbiting. And every backbiting, every act of ghibah puts a stain, a black spot in the heart. Then there is namima, tale carrying, or what we now call gossiping. Especially that type of gossip where we take the news from one place and go and tell it to others just to cause a scene, spice up the event. Oh, did you know what he said about you? I don't want to say, I don't want to be the one to spill the beans, but... And he didn't know. And maybe it was, I heard it, and the brother was saying it in a fit of anger. And actually, 2 seconds after he said it, his heart was clean with the brother. But no, I heard it. He said something bad. Oh, brother, did you know what that other brother said about you? This is the worst type of behavior. Despicable. It's unimaginable that a Muslim, forget about a wali of God, one of the saints of God, a Muslim could be like this, knowing that it's going to fracture. And I have the audacity, I have the nerve to say, but Allah says in the Quran, وَاعْتَصِمُوا بِحَبْلِ اللَّهِ جَمِيعًا وَلَا تَفَرَّقُوا. Hold fast all together to the rope of Allah and do not be disunited. We Muslims must be united. We have to have unity. And here I am, with my tongue, causing disunity by splitting the hearts of the Muslims. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. Muslim or munafiq? Muslihun or mufsidun? Rectifier or a troublemaker, a corrupter. But as you can see, as if we're true to ourselves, things like this can roll off our tongues, and sometimes we're unaware. Many times we're unaware. Sometimes we're unaware because the level of Islamic ignorance is that we don't even know that cheating, backbiting, slandering, gossiping are actually prohibited. We think Islam is just for the mosque. You come in, you put your hat on, you say all the right religious words, and you go out and it's as if Allah is not there. The Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde scenario. The religious light switch is on when we're in the mosque. I found 10p. Anyone lost 10p? Although we don't announce lost money in the mosque. Because of the hadith, we take it to the office or something like that. But you know what I mean. Oh, I'll be so just there. A tenner on the road, I don't know where my moral compass will be. If I can get more out of the DHS, don't even have to question that. I'll bend the rules for that. Because Allah's only in the mosque, right? Yeah? Allah only hears and sees in the mosque, right? No, of course not. So let me finish by saying, well, if those are the things that we must learn to avoid, and one of the cases is ignorance, the other case is that we just don't realize that Islam is Islam with the tongue, Islam with the heart, Islam with the eyes, Islam with the limbs. And Allah is a 24/7 thing throughout our life, not just moments. And also there's a third reason why we are not careful with our tongues. We've lost the ability to have refined manners, husn khuluq. Good mannerism or refined mannerisms, having beautiful character has gone out of our lives. Now we're just quite happy to drag ourselves to the standard of anyone and everyone else, and we left that beauty of the sunnah. We are grown men, white-bearded, grey-bearded, black-bearded. We're grown men who behave despicably. We have brothers with beards, wearing hats and what, we don't even know how to address elders. Here I am 20, I'm not 20, just to let you know, may look it, I love you, lad. Here I am 20 and here is a person who's got some white hair in his head, definitely elder. Oh bro, get that filthy word from your tongue. Address him with respect. Where's your haiba? Where's your sense of dignity? Where's your sense of self-worth? That you can call someone who's older than you. وَقُولُوا لِلنَّاسِ حُسْنًا, the Quran says, and speak to people beautifully. The elder must be addressed with an honourable title. The mother and father must be addressed with honour. The scholar must be addressed with honour. We don't take the name of the Prophet ﷺ without trying to send salawat or durood, salutations upon him, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. But it's not because my heart is evil. I just lost the focus of good character. And of course, if the elders don't have good character, many of them do, alhamdulillah. But some don't, then when the young people look at it, they think, well, Islam is just putting a hat on your head, a few bows here and there. It's nothing to do with character and beauty. You might be setting a precedent. So finally, what I'd like to say is, one of the great things that we can do to keep our tongues free of these sins is dhikr of Allah, the remembrance of Allah. Ibn al-Qayyim rahmatullahi alayhi says, if dhikr, remembrance of God, had no other benefit other than occupying our tongue with mentioning God, and therefore we can't mention sins and sinfulness, that would be worth doing dhikr for. And the Prophet ﷺ gave us this parting advice, or this comprehensive advice. He said, restrain your tongues, stay in your houses, and weep over your sins. When he was asked, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, in what does salvation lie? In what does salvation from the hellfire lie? Najat. He said, restrain your tongue. Stay in your houses. Meaning, don't go out for the sake of going out and just cause fitna and get yourself into fitna. And weep over your sins. And I suspect many of us, myself included, have a lot of learning of how to restrain our tongues. I suspect many of us, myself included, we need to keep more in our houses and stop spreading corruption in what we say and what we do. I suspect many of us, myself included, need to learn to weep over the incredible amount of sins that we have, many of which we consider trivial. And if a sin had no fault other than making a hijab, a veil between us and God's mercy, that would be enough. But sins have even worse results than that. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He give us beautiful tongues. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He give us tongues, lisan, dhakira, tongues that remember Allah. We ask Allah to protect us from the major and the minor sins. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make our characters beautiful. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make our lives beneficial to our own souls and beneficial to others. We ask Allah finally that He not let us die except as a Muslim upon the Sunnah, journeying to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifun wa salamun ala al-mursaleen walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Bismillah, alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah al-alim al-khabir بكل قول وفعل صغير وكبير أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وأصحابه وأتباعه أما بعد أيها الناس اتقوا الله فإن التقوى رأس كل شيء اتقوا الله وأطيعوه وراقبوه قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم من كان يؤمن بالله واليوم الآخر فليقل خيرا أو ليصمت وقال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم عيدا من سلم المسلمون من لسانه ويده وقال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم إلى معاذ يا معاذ هل يكب الناس على وجوههم في النار إلا حصائد ألسنتهم وقال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم عيدا لا يدخل الجنة النار وقال سيدنا أبو بكر رضي الله عنه كان يدعو حصاة في فيه يمنع بها نفسه عن الكلام وكان يشير إلى لسانه ويقول هذا الذي أوردني الموارد وقال ابن مسعود رضي الله عنه يقول والله الذي لا إله إلا هو ما شيء أحوج إلى طول سجن من لسان قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم في الحديث الصحيح لا يزال لسانك رطبا من ذكر الله وقال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم أيضا أمسك عليك لسانك وليسعك بيتك وابكي على خطيئك أقول قولي هذا أستغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين من كل ذنب فاستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهدي الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله أما بعد قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم المسلم من سلم المسلمون من لسانه ويده إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا وحبيبنا ونبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين اللهم أعز الإسلام والمسلمين اللهم أعز الإسلام والمسلمين اللهم أعز الإسلام والمسلمين اللهم احفظ علينا الدين يا رب العالمين اللهم حقق النصر النصر لأمة كل وقت وفي كل مكان اللهم حي لنا من أسباب النصر اللهم حي لنا من أسباب النصر اللهم حي لنا من أسباب النصر اللهم اشف مرضانا وارحم موتانا اللهم اشف مرضانا وارحم موتانا اللهم أيقظنا من الغفلات ونجنا من الدركات وكفر عنا الذنوب والسيئات وجعلنا من الراشدين وجعلنا من المتقين وجعلنا من المحسنين إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون فاذكروني أذكركم واشكروا لي ولا تكفرون